Welcome back to another episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast. My name is Ethan Shalloway, and I'm joined by the lovely, festive Chris Salona.
The holiday edition. This is great.
December 12th, we're coming to you. Happy Monday. Chris, you have a nice tree in the back.
I do have a nice Christmas tree right there. So growing
up... What's the story behind it?
Well, the story behind it is, it's the holidays. You got to get a Christmas tree. But I grew up, we always used to, get a real live Christmas tree. So when I moved out, got my own place, my family was like, "You getting a Christmas tree?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm getting a Christmas tree." So I've been in this apartment. This is my second Christmas in this apartment. So I decided to keep it rolling. We got it.
Second year in a row?
Yeah, I brought it home, I think December 2nd. So, you get the full month out of it. That's what you need to do. So I'm really fired up about it. So I decided to flip the camera, because this thing's, it's too nice not to have in view. So it just kind of, I feel pretty giddy, I'm excited. This is good.
Yeah, for the people that are listening and can't see it, Chris he's got the blue lights, which are my favorite. That's what my nan always had on. So we do all blue lights every year. My mom makes this like soap fake snow that we decorate the tree with, and it looks like you got the silver, what are they called? The silver,
like the garland or the tinsel or whatever.
Tinsel. Yeah,
I got some of that. Mine's actually, it's a mix. It's got silver and gold. I have the multicolored lights. I got the star at the top, and then just a bunch of different ornaments. Some special that I've accumulated that date back to my youth, and then some other ones that I picked up recently for this
Christmas
very
ornaments.
Occasion.
Yeah, Christmas ornaments are kind of an underrated gift and whatnot. I mean, everybody made them as in elementary school.
Right.
And I feel like most people to bring home and stuff.
I have one that I made in the first grade on this tree.
Those are some of the best.
That's like 24 years ago, or 20 years ago, rather.
And I'm just thinking, like, that'd be kind of a cool gift to give to somebody and have them put on on their tree.
Yeah,
so it looks good, and it fits. It looks like you measured it perfectly.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Fits. This one's a little thick. Like last year, the tree
short
fit.
And fat.
This is a thick boy.
Rare.
He's stupid thick. He's got a dump truck.
Rare girth.
Yes, this is some very rare girth.
This is rare girth happening in the back.
It really is. I mean, you don't see this type of girth every day.
Old chub, rare girth.
When you do it, you kind of stops you in your tracks a little bit. But I walk into my apartment every day, and I just have to stop and take it. I'm like, whoa, that's a wide load right there. But
okay, all right.
It's keeping the spirits up, which is very, very important around this time of year. And speaking of spirits, how are you doing today? What's going on in Shalloway land?
I'm doing well. We probably we're having a Christmas party on the 11th, so we just had our Christmas party. I'm having some people over to the house, baking a ham or something, and
nice.
Making some wassail, and we're gonna watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Christmas or something like that. Pretty low, but it it's gonna be fun. So I'm doing really well. I head home at the end of this week, start making my travels. I got some plans thrown in there, but I'll be traveling home, and energy levels is doing really well. They're a solid high level here, so I'm doing
great.
good.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to do this podcast today. This is number 90 in a row. We're
getting to the end of the year, Chris.
We're finally getting to the end of the year.
Calendar year, and we're getting around year 2 of the podcast being live, because we're on episode 90, so episode 104, if my math is correct.
Your math is correct there, Ethan.
So it doesn't seem that far away, and it's not.
It's getting closer, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I've always liked the holidays, and some people do say that it's the season of giving, and we have a lot of people that have decided to regardless of the time of the year, they make it the season of giving, and they make it the season of giving every single month when they support us on Patreon. So if you want to give Grunge Bible a Christmas present, that is one great way to do it. And recently we had an individual who decided to gift us the gift of being a top-level patron over there on Patreon. So I would like to thank Christine Shepard for taking part in this season of giving by joining up at the top level. This is very, very, very thoughtful, and it's very helpful to us, because you don't get 2 years of a podcast without missing a week. You don't get there on your own. So we have a lot of people on our corner, and the people who are pulling a lot of weight in this corner are our top level Patreon supporters. So in addition to the lovely Christine Shepard, I would like to thank Alex Long, Black Hole Sean, Alexis Shannon, The Blue Owl, Brother Nature, Captain Hightop, Kara K, Doug Endy, Eddie Vedder got me through my second divorce, Faith Bittner, Fresh Tendonitis, Fuck Soup, Granny Grunge, Jade Mercado, our number one fan from Australia, Chris LSMS, Carlene Solona, my mother, Jamie Lynn, Laura Irene, Marianne, Millie, Rachel Corning, Nikki Six, Shoe the Shoeless, Seattle 4 fanboy from New Jersey, the Garden State, and What the Fuck's Up Denny's. So thank you to everybody who has supported us at any point along the way. Especially the people who choose to do it every month that are able to do that. It's super, super helpful because, there are costs that are incurred with running this show, and they help make that load a little lighter to, put the load on them for a change.
So if you are in a giving mood,
which you might as well be. It's the Christmas season.
Yeah, you might as well be. Send a GB Christmas present in the form of joining the Patreon. That would be awesome. And maybe we could do something special for the people that joined during December. I don't know what that could be, but it could be our Christmas patrons and
gift them Grunge Bible branded Santa hats or something.
Yeah. So join and there might be something on the other end other than this wonderful podcast that we bring to you,
which is delivered to you every single week.
Yep.
And throughout the holidays, we work throughout the holidays. A lot of people don't, but we do.
That's right. And we have a really special episode coming out right around Christmas.
We do, yeah.
It's finally here.
December 26th is a Monday, so we will be releasing the day after Christmas. And if you've been with us for a long time, there's one episode that we've been dangling in front of you, the carrot, for a long time. I'm not going to say what it is because if you've been around long enough, Maybe next week we'll dangle it a little more. We've got a great interview next week, but December 26th is one that has been patiently waited for a very long time, and I'm excited for it. It's probably
I'm excited to sit down and record it too.
Yeah, me too, because if you think about it, for the Grunge Bible podcast, when we started, there were pretty much two things that I wanted to do. Number one, I wanted to interview June Swoon, Julie Lydell, which we did last week, and secondly, I want to record the episode that we're going to record and release on December 26th.
And it's amazing that it's coming out as a Christmas present for everybody. Basically,
it's our gift.
It's our gift. We've held off long enough. It actually wasn't even planned to release it, but it really worked out perfect.
And I really hope that people enjoy it. But then again, at the same time, if they think it stinks, that's just their opinion.
That's just their opinion, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So you can't, you see what happens there. But really, really looking forward to that one rather. But we cannot put the cart before the horse, and there are a few horses that need to make their way through before that cart, and that's one of those horses is this episode today. Yeah. This is great. It's the year in review. So we have some year to review right here, don't we?
Yeah, this is going to be, we are going to do one after, right after New Year's, the second. That'll be similar, I think. Mm-hmm. And Drew, our producer, will be on that episode if all works out. I already talked to him, and we'll have like a Q&A year in review. But today we're going to do a personal year in review and talk about all the shows that we've been to and the concerts that we've been throughout the year, because it was a really good year for both of us. And I think we could have did last year's as well, because I think we both went to a lot of concerts last year. I didn't go back and look at how many I did in 21, but I do have an accurate count for 22. I don't know do you know how many you did in 21?
I do, yeah. And 2021 was kind of funky because a lot of artists weren't really playing shows until the summertime because of the restrictions from the pandemic and everything. But 2021, I saw 6 shows, which was at that point that was a personal best for me. I saw 6, but in 2022, I saw 20 shows. At the time of this recording, I've seen 19. By the time it comes out, I'll have seen 20, barring any unforeseen circumstances. But 20 is a big number. And I know you've spent a lot of your teenage and adult life going to shows. It's been something you did, but I'm kind of a late bloomer in that regard. So I'm finally putting up some good numbers. And how many were you able to get to this year? I know it's not a few. It's a good amount, right?
I counted 12.
Yeah.
That's all the stuff that I had documented in my phone, and I didn't do a real hard look about if I if I didn't take like
Right.
a picture or something at a show, which I very well could have. But
Totally.
I got 12 for this year, which is a really solid number for me. I'll take that.
Totally.
Because they have a lot of other stuff, and these are 12 separate nights, separate shows, not just artists.
Yeah, I don't do that thing where people, if there's 3 artists playing, like, oh, I saw 45 different things. You know, it's like, no, you one trip is a show, one evening is a show.
I bet you saw 21. I have one on here that I bet you didn't put, but I think you should have.
Is this Birmingham Rock Band League?
The Rock Band League, exactly.
Oh yeah, well fuck it, man. I've seen 21 shows.
And you know what? And we'll just go right into it. That cracked my top 5 for for shows of the year.
Dude, that was the spirit of rock and roll.
That was the spirit of rock and roll. So this was
March of 2021 in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Was that at Avondale?
It was March 13th. Yeah, it was at Avondale Brewing, which they hold. Oh yeah, I wrote down all the dates. They have a lot of good shows. I've seen a lot. A few bands just really. Goose is coming to play at Avondale in
I think I want to
spring.
come down for that one.
Yeah, I think you should. I'm gonna get the tickets tomorrow. I'm gonna buy 4 naturally because I think that's the limit.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, we went. So Chris was in for the weekend, and it was a Sunday, and we were like hungover.
I was flying out that afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. We were hungover, doing stuff. I was like, let's go for brunch. Like, we're not drinking, but then of course we had a few drinks, and like we get back into it real quick. And I was like, let me show you where I go see music. So we walk down the road, go back there, and like they're just setting up music, and we're like, what's going on here? Turns out there's a rock band league, and it's just basically the School of Rock. And I just remember the little kids, and that's one of my that's why it was one of my favorites.
Kids were awesome.
It broke top 10. Yeah, there was a group of 5 kids. Like, I don't even know if they were 13. They may have been younger. But they played "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and the dude had a tie-dye Led Zeppelin shirt. He had the long blonde hair as a teenage boy, and they were just ripping, having a great time. And we were just sitting there, kind of in limbo, having a few beers, waiting for the plane ride. And later, it was one of those beautiful moments, the in between, then a nice March day, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was super cool, and I think every single time the common trope is, oh, rock and roll is dead, nobody listens to it anymore. But I mean, if there's kids in Birmingham, Alabama who are, this is basically like a travel team, but for music. I mean, there's kids that are interested in it, and there's kids that are, putting themselves on the line. It's not, especially when you're a teenager or even below that, it can't be an easy thing to perform for people. So it's just so cool. People are putting themselves out there, and kids are being able to pursue passions that you learn a lot about yourself from. So that was super cool. I remember I did forget to put that one down on my list. So, but as soon as you alluded to it, I knew what you were gonna say. So,
yeah, but it just felt good to be out there. And I mean, we could have easily been like, all right, time to leave, but we stayed. It was a nice way to support. And so those things are kind of
Ethan,
random.
do you have a list of all of your the shows that you've seen, right? Okay, yeah. So I think to kick this off, you said you've seen 12 that you can remember and that you've documented, and I have 20. I think we should just each read off of our lists, and then we can kind of go into some superlatives. How does that sound?
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I can go first too.
All right. Yeah.
And I think this is my first show was in March. I think I saw.
Okay. Mine was too. Yeah.
Yeah. So March 7th, I saw Sydney Sprague opened up for Dashboard Confessional and Jimmy Eat World. Then we had the Rock Band Club. Then in mid-April, I saw Jerry Cantrell, COVID and all, coming off of the heels of COVID, played a rockin' show at the Ryman. Then I saw Modest Mouse. Then I put in Steve-O. I went and saw Steve-O. So I just put in like the shows that I saw.
That definitely counts.
Yeah. So Steve-O. Then I saw Rainbow Kitten Surprise in July. I guess I missed June. I don't know if I saw any shows. Then that was my only summer show. I didn't have anything until September, where I saw Pup and the OGBMs here. Then I saw the Front Bottoms on September 25th. Then we saw the Taylor Hawkins tribute show. Then we saw Manchester Orchestra and PD in California. Then I saw the Front Bottoms again in Birmingham. And then I finished it up with Trey Anastasio Band and Goose like 2 weeks ago.
That's the cherry on top right there.
Yeah, so pretty solid lists altogether. I was able to cross out a few people that I wanted to see, like Modest Mouse, PD, and Goose, and Jerry Cantrell. I'd never seen them before, but then I also got to see Rainbow Kitten Surprise again, and the Front Bottoms I saw twice, which were really good. So It was nice. It was a good mix up. I got to see Sydney, a new artist that we like, so that was really cool that she came through. Yeah. I feel like there's some bands missing in there that I just I'm getting the years mixed up in my head.
Yeah, they're lost to the ages now.
Yeah, it is what it is. So pretty solid list.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that list.
Because I like getting new ones, and I like seeing old bands that I like.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perfect mix.
A good mix is always really important. Different venues, different genres, different points of their careers. It's always fun when you kind of put them all together. You can touch all the bases. So my year, similar to you, I didn't see anything really in the winter. I started with a doubleheader in March, and I don't have all of the months here, but I can estimate. But I saw at the end of March, I saw Car Seat Headrest and Soccer Mommy back-to-back nights. Had wanted to see Car Seat Headrest for a while, so I was able to do that. It was my second time seeing Soccer Mommy. Moving into April, I had 2 shows in April. I had Jerry Cantrell, much anticipated, and he blew the roof off. Up there in Boston. And then after that, I saw John Mayer also that month up in Boston. And moving into May, I was able to see Tomberlin, which was super, super, super awesome. It was really, really small venue. There weren't that many people there, so I was right up at the front. I was standing like right in front of her the whole time, which was really cool. And then I believe these 3 were in pretty quick succession, although I don't quite remember. I saw Failure, I saw the Melvins, and I saw Camp Cope. Failure and Camp Cope up in Boston. The Melvins were here in Providence. Then moving on, I originally had tickets to see Lucy Dacus. She was supposed to come to Providence in March, but had to cancel it because of COVID. She pushed that back to July, and Samia was tabbed to open, which was really cool because I really like Samia. So I saw those 2 there. I snuck in an Elton John show on his Farewell Yellow Brick Road never-ending tour, which now has departed the United States for the final time. So I was able to see him before he called it quits there. Then I had a real hazy night with Band of Horses and Black Keys.
I was waiting for that to come. I forgot Band of Horses was a part of that.
Yeah, I did too. It was great. I just remember I was a little disoriented, and I remember Laredo, which is my favorite Band of Horses song, playing. I remember hearing the guitar, and I was like, oh,
hell
shit.
Yeah, you good then.
Hell yeah, I got what I needed. Black Keys were in there. Then I hightailed it down to the Ocean Mist in South Kingstown, Rhode Island, to see my cousin John Cafferty play a ripping 3-hour set. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Then I got to see Sharon Van Etten, Julian Baker, and Angel Olsen on their Wild Hearts tour. I snuck in a Courtney Barnett show in Boston before I headed out to the West Coast, and I caught that triple header with you of the Front Bottoms, the Foo Fighters, Taylor Hawkins tribute concert, and Petey with Manchester Orchestra. Came back here, I grabbed a few more. I saw the Wonder Years, I believe, in October. Then I saw Petey at the Middle East up in Cambridge, Massachusetts last month. And I have one more, King Buffalo up in Boston, Massachusetts. Well, Brighton, I guess. Coming up, I guess I'll be there 2 nights before this podcast comes out. So a pretty full year, dude.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. It's funny because you snuck in Elton John and John Mayer.
People forget that I saw Elton John.
It's so important, and yeah, that's a good mix too. A lot of new bands, a lot of rock and roll,
a lot of old men. Well,
a lot of ladies,
men, not really that many.
A lot of women-led bands, though.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Sob rock.
Sob rock. Yeah, John Mayer was in there. But I think, and I've spoken to you, just as friends, and I've also spoken to you about this on the show, but like, you actually, you played a large part in me kind of getting out and starting to see shows more, because I know you've always done it and you've always spoken so highly of it. And I was really hooked. I have to say, I'm tired. I kind of see shows in bursts where I'll see like 4 in a month, and then I'll go 2 months without seeing them. So after the summer and after the California or the West Coast trip that we did, where I saw a bunch of shows, I probably saw most of my shows between like July and September, and I'm fatigued from shows. I passed up a few that I was I had anticipated going to earlier, but I'm okay. You gotta rest when you can.
Yeah, sometimes there's, unforeseen circumstances that you just can't go. You can't do it. But I really wish you would have went to the Kurt Vile show. That hurt me when that one got passed up. I was like, a little upset, but I understand.
That's right. I passed up. That was like a down era for me. I passed up Kurt Vile. I never ended up buying tickets to Alice in Chains with Bush and Breaking Benjamin. And then there was, I think, the Local H played in Boston last week. I passed that one up. And Modest Mouse, I had tickets for, but they canceled their show. So I think those were kind of the big ones that I let fall by the wayside, or fell by the wayside of their own doing. But I definitely I know you're disappointed in me for the Kurt Vile decision.
It's all right. I mean, I was talking to Nick again last week when I saw him, and he just said again how Kurt Vile is just our rock. He's just like he's a rock star for our. Yeah. He's not old yet, but he's kind of like the old rocker that we have in a way. But
it's kind of like our generation's Jay Mascis or something.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say
they're probably very similar generations.
I had Dinosaur Jr. tickets that I missed the show on as well.
I remember that. That's
they
right.
Rescheduled it, and then it got lost by the person that had the tickets.
We've all been there.
Oh yeah. So all right, let's rank the top 5. So. You want to go first? Do you want me to?
Yeah, I would go first for sure.
Do you have a list? Do you have a list written up?
I do have a list written out. See, you underestimate you underestimate me there. So I don't know if I should include the Taylor Hawkins tribute show, because it's in a class of its own. Yeah, that would have to number
be 1.
The de facto number 1. So I have that, and then I have a top 4 traditional show list. And we did 2 hours on the Taylor Hawkins tribute show right after it happened. So you can go check out that episode somewhere in the early 80s of the podcast. But there's got to be a little bit of recency bias here in my list. Although no, not really actually. But it's so hard for me to rank. But I honestly had a fantastic time at the Jerry Cantrell show. I was right up in front, and that was probably, I can look right here. I think it was the 3rd show. It was the 3rd show I saw this year. So it was really kind of like, honestly, I was still in that period of being woken up by the part of your brain that loves live music.
There was no fatigue. Yeah.
No, it was, I was fresh. I was chomping at the bit to get in there. So, I ended up going up there, and I met Alex Long, top level patron, and his buddy Brody. We went up there and had a great time. We got right up front, super super awesome. I think that's got to be number 1 for me. Well, I guess number 2.
Your top, that makes sense. Yeah. I was gonna say it's that would have been my guess for your top show. I mean, it just sounds like such a blast, and he really killed it. And you guys are so close.
Yeah,
I wish mine was a little bit more like that. I didn't quite have that, and I was by myself too. So it didn't crack my top 5. I mean, it was an amazing show, but I also it could easily be. I could move it in there, but
that's the thing. I didn't see very many bad shows. Like I got something out of all of them, but Jerry definitely comes to mind first. After Jerry, so I guess in the 3 hole, so we got Hawkins tribute, Jerry. Number 3 for me has to be Petey at Middle East Downstairs up in Cambridge last month. So we had seen him in Ventura, California, opening for Manchester Orchestra, and I remember we were DMing him a little bit, and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "Thanks for coming. Like, can't wait for you guys to see the the headliner show." And honestly, he was right. It was so cool just to be in a crowd of everybody who was there for him, for his music. It was this small little venue. If you're from the Northeast, you probably know the venue. It's like a basement. The ceilings are probably 10 feet tall, maybe. And the energy was fantastic. I was with a lot of really good friends. The bartender let me purchase 6 beers by myself, which was great. So everything worked out. The set was super, super fun. I know all of his music, so it was just one of those great nights. So I'd have to say that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that one's number 3, and there's not much of a gap between Jerry and Petey there. Moving on, I would have to say, I think number 4. I really loved that Front Bottom show that we went to. I like this whole year, I mean, you got me on the Front Bottoms train heavy earlier this spring when I came down to visit you in Birmingham, and we were able to see them in Boulder, Colorado, and Motherfolk opened for them. They did a really good job, but the Front Bottoms, that was just super fun because I had a lot of anticipation built up into it, and they're just great performers. Brian, you know, he's a great performer, and it was just a lot of fun. So it was nice hopping in there with you for sure. So that's definitely number 4. And I have to say, like, a lot of these shows that I've mentioned, certainly Jerry, Petey, and the Front Bottoms, like, the energy was super high, and it was super energetic show. Taylor Hawkins Tribute was in its own category, obviously, of just being like a complete overload of different emotions, you know, over the course of those 6 hours. So I think for my 5 spot, I'm going to pick a show that is definitely different from all of the other ones that I've mentioned so far. And that would be the Tomberlin show I'm going to pick.
I was right on. I was going to guess and say Tomberlin. It was either that or the Wonder Years, but I figured the Tomberlin was a change of pace that we wanted to hear. So
it really was. So that was in May. I forget the venue honestly, but it was this tiny little venue, and it was like it had like a bunch of like tables with chairs in the back and everything. So I showed up like pretty early. Because my mind was working of like some of like the bigger show, like the 2,000 seat places or capacity places where like you got to show up early if you want a good spot. So like I showed up like right when the doors were at 7 probably. The opener was at 8. And I think Tomberlin came on at 9. So like I showed up at 7 and like I'm like, oh man, I gotta go in, I gotta get my beer, and I gotta get to the front. There was nobody there. Like I was just standing like at the front rail, just like with my beer like on like the stage, like just waiting for a long time. And it was she did a tour, I think, for maybe like a month and a half in the States, and that was her first show with the band. I mean, it was just really cool. It was a really kind of like close environment and like comfortable because there were technical issues. You could tell that the band was still kind of like figuring some stuff out with playing together. The crowd was just super sweet, and she was super sweet, and really, really cool. And I got to I got some merch after, and I was able to meet her and thank her and everything. And I got her to sign that poster that I sent down to you. So that's definitely that's a memorable one for sure, because it was the first show of the tour, and you know I'd wanted to see her certainly ever since I learned about her music. So I'd have to say that's my top 5.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that Tomberlin, Front Bottoms, and Petey all made the top 5, and the Taylor Hawkins. I feel like I just love hearing that, because those are bands that I love that I probably
you're like a co-signer of my list.
I passed them on, exactly. and you went and became huge fans. I'm pretty sure. So I went to, you know, we had the Spotify Wrapped going on right now, and I went to check it out, and something happened where I couldn't see, like, the only thing I could see was my playlist they made. I didn't see all the stats. I don't know where it went. I can't like find it. Yeah, it doesn't matter though. I'm almost kind of against it. I'm ready to have one of my questions at this is it time to switch to Bandcamp, Chris?
Honestly,
because what happened was I got signed out of my Spotify because I had to downgrade for like 2 days because it wasn't accepting my payment or whatever. I don't know. I'm back to normal member, but I was thinking, I was like, you know, talking this talk about Spotify this, Spotify that, but maybe I just don't know what I don't know. Do they have playlists on Bandcamp? Can you make? I
don't know. It's hard because like
kind of interface they have.
Briefly answer it. Like what I try to do is like, you know, I use Spotify just for the ease, obviously, but it's shit for artists, and it doesn't help the artist. Like if an artist that I like comes out with something, or like if I go to a show and I like them, like I'll buy something from the merch table or something, or I'll try to buy like the vinyl direct from them or something if I can. So I try to supplement that because I feel so hypocritical being like Spotify fucking sucks, like it sucks, and I'm like, oh my god, Spotify Wrapped is out.
Wrapped is here. I'm a sucker. I love it.
It's like, here we go. So yeah, I don't know, because I mean we're all liars, we're all hypocrites, but I struggle with that, and I think as each month goes on, I'm like, fuck, like I can't.
It's a cycle. It's good. I mean, a lot of people use it, so maybe we can get a lot of people to listen.
Well, it sucks too, because like all of the artists we talk to, like Spotify fucking sucks, but then it's like every single artist like, please share my stuff on Spotify.
Kid, do you have a playlist you can put this on?
Yeah, so we're prisoners to the system that holds us in chains. I don't know. It's like this weird. I don't know. That's a question for another time.
Yeah, we'll check it out. But I'm pretty sure On my playlist, my top song was "Born" by Goose. I do know that.
Hell yeah.
And which is pretty cool. But
I think that's
had
a
a lot
Song
of
of the Week alumnus as well.
Oh yeah, but I had a lot of Tom Berlin up there because I would listen to her to like go to bed. I bet you Tom Berlin
At weddings
was
and then the new record. I don't know who
Yeah.
needs to hear this. Yeah.
Yep, I would put money that would probably be my top artist of the year, which is pretty
Oh,
sweet.
yeah. I like that.
So I listened to her a lot for a long time, and you don't realize how much
you
listen
don't
to
realize how
until the end. I guess
the phases exactly.
the phases of the year. Yeah. So
All right, let's hear
Awesome.
your top 5.
so you went from 1 to 5, which I thought was interesting. You started with the favorite.
Yeah,
I guess-
that's true.
There wasn't a
because
countdown. We
I
counted
wasn't
them.
sure where some of them fell in, so it was like process of elimination, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll start from 5.
Yeah, this is the proper way to do it.
the more traditional. Just
We'll
just
keep the
because.
listeners on the edge of their
But I will
seats.
say, I'll say that number 1 is the Taylor Hawkins as well. It's in its own category, as we discussed. And the Rock League show is like 5, but it also could be 6 if you want, because I have a tie at 4. So we'll say it's
All
6.
right, we'll put it back to 6.
Yeah. So I have a
No
tie.
ties.
No ties. So I got to pick
ties.
one.
You gotta pick.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go number 5 being, I'm gonna go with Modest Mouse.
Nice.
So Modest Mouse, I went and saw by myself. It was highly anticipated. I was nervous, but Isaac delivered a really great show. He made me kind of fall in love with the newest album a little bit more. And I was talking to a friend about it, somebody that really likes them, and she was talking about the album and what she likes about it. And basically, like, all of his stuff is pretty sad and whatnot. And you followed a journey throughout his career in writing. And then this new album is like a lot brighter, and it's kind of like looking back, and it's kind of like you get to see the growth that he as a person has went through,
Yeah.
and it's really cool. And I think it's a really good, and the lyrics are still really great in that album. It's a little different, it's a little faster at times, but it was cool. It was a really good show. I wish I was with some other people. I guess I think it was a Sunday night too, so it was just kind of like hanging out in the middle. But so that was solid. The number 4, the one that was tied with, I think this Goose show has kind of changed my life, Chris.
Yeah, I think you're in. I mean, you had a lot
I'm
of
in.
you had a lot of Trey songs that were perfect for your first Trey show.
Oh, dude, and Jedi Trey.
Trey.
I got Jedi Trey on my first one. I mean, they played fucking First Tube as the last show of the first set.
Yeah.
So Trey Anastasio came out and finished his first set with Goose, and then Goose came out and played with Trey. It was 4 hours. I was with people that just love it. Obviously,
I was going to say,
everybody
like,
in
we
there.
have to mention you were with some real connoisseurs who catalog set lists for Phish. So you had the
hard
perfect,
drives.
You had the perfect trip sitters for this type
Yeah.
of endeavor.
And I went with also like one of my good friends who was taking pictures for on the front line for both of them.
Yeah.
And he's a big fan, and like, as the days and weeks have passed, I realized, I mean, I've listened to, I have a confession, Chris. They have the audio on YouTube for the show, and I've listened to it already twice through.
Right on, dude. Absolutely.
I'm in. I think we've been working on this for a long time.
We've been working on this for a year and a half
for the
at
jam
least.
band stuff. Yeah. And I think seeing the show really set me up for just more and more to come. And also, this band Goose, I mean, of course, like I guess I told you, I was sitting there and there's a person in front of me that was texting in big, like, super old people texting. So naturally, I wasn't trying to look, but it was like they were texting and I was like,
You might as well, though,
they
at
were,
that point.
They were like, Goose just doesn't do it for me like Trey does. It's like, they're good and all, but they don't move my soul like Trey. And I'm just like,
and that's the thing. People in that crowd, they're not going to a concert for anything less than that, to be completely and utterly spiritually moved by what's going on the stage.
But you know why? It's because these people got high for the first time to Phish back
Right.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's why when you have
It's like me
connections
with Buddy Miles.
yes, you have connections with bands, especially that if you're high listening to them, you have these connections that they carry for 25 years. The Dead, these is very, it is what it is. So,
Yep.
and I think Goose is kind of being that for me. Like, I'm getting like, I don't know, and more into it, and I get it because they're pretty young, and now they played a few like late night shows. Trey came and played them with that tour. They're playing with Dead and Co, and they're really moving up. They're popping off a lot in the jam band world and just the rock and roll world. Like I said, a lot of late night shows and a lot of just tours coming out. So I'm expecting them to be around and be really good for the next couple of years. So I don't know. I really liked it. Like I said, as the time I got a shirt because the posters were out. It's a tie-dye shirt. I think it's shrunk already. It's probably not that good. Probably
Who cares,
not.
though?
Yeah, but I had to get something. I got some koozies and stickers that I lost 100%. Already. Yeah.
So this is episode 90, and I think you're at a fair point where you can say that you finally get it. So we had this original debate
not yet,
on
almost.
You're getting close.
I need to go to a concert
and
be fully
let's go
immersed.
to Goose in Birmingham and next spring, and we'll get that done. So this debate for us started on episode 22. Yeah, episode 22 back on August 13th of 2021. We had it was called New Music, the Lame List, and the Jam Band Debate. So finally, it only took us however many episodes, 62 episodes or whatever, and now we're here.
Yeah, and I feel like, I always get on a tangent. I'm glad you pulled that up because, I tried, I kept trying. We did the Fish, we tried to get in the Dead. I talked to some people, but, you always get pushed away because it's their territory. But I think that's why I'm getting I feel like I'm there at the ground level. So that's what I'm going to stick to. So anyway, it was a really good show. Trey was great. Trey was Happy Trey, as they called him. We got Happy Trey that night.
That's fantastic. So that's in the 4-hole for you. So now we're moving into the top three.
Top three. Number 3, I'm going to go with Petey in California. Santa Barbara, right? Was it Santa Barbara we saw?
It was Ventura.
Ventura, right? Yeah, we went to Santa Barbara
right before the show. We were in Santa Barbara, yeah.
And this one was just like a culmination of a lot of things. I was with some of my best friends. We drove the coast of California. We went up to, we hung out on the pier, and then we went in and just saw Petey, screaming our lungs out to Petey, and we were like, 20 people within this crowd of Manchester fans that, and we're just like, couldn't give two shits about that band. They were good, Manchester was good, but but Petey did so good for being like under the weather or whatever he was, but it was just such a fun night to be a part of altogether. So I really enjoyed that show, and I'm jealous you got to see him later as a headliner because that makes a huge difference. But I am glad that we got to see him together for the first time. I agree,
and I have to tell you, like if I hadn't seen him headlining in Boston, it still would have been like the show that we went to would have been in my top 5 easily, just because of what you had said. It was kind of a culmination. Like when we were waiting, and there was an opener before him, and I think he came on and. The band comes on, and I think like Pitch a Fit was the first song, and I was like, we were so excited for it, and it was
a lot of anticipation.
It was an hour of great music,
Yeah, it was so good. And like I said, just being in California and having to be like we were just out there doing it, where we could have been, it's like that
was one of the best bookends to that week that we probably the best that we could have had. Yeah, for sure.
I think no, totally. Seeing shows when they come through your town is one thing, but I feel like being out there somewhere else, or like that was the only thing.
Some skin in the game. It's not easy. It's not convenient to get out there.
And at that point, that was the only thing we had on our minds. That's the only thing we were doing was that night, and then the next day,
gotta go see Petey.
Yeah. So really good.
And it's funny, speaking of the dreaded Spotify of the Wrapped, of my top 5 songs, 4 of them were Petey songs.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Petey was number 2 for me. I can't remember.
Yeah, he was my number 2 artist as well, allegedly. That's super cool. Yeah, no surprises that's on your list there.
Number 2 for me, right behind the Taylor Hawkins Show. This is an interesting one, and I have reasoning behind it. It's not that interesting, but it's the Front Bottoms in Birmingham.
Yes.
And the one in Colorado was awesome. It was really good, and we had a lot of good conversations about it and whatnot. And I think I left that, and I was like, I get to see him again in a few weeks, and I was like, I like seeing bands multiple times, and we talked a lot about how I saw them a long time ago to now, and you get to see their growth. So I was really, interested in like, okay, like, what are they going to do at this next show? How's it going to move me? I just saw them or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I went in, I was back at a different group of 3 people that was all their first times, and we're in the back, and like, they started playing, and Brian was just bringing it. And all of a sudden I felt so moved that, I went down to the pit, and like, it was just such a a reminder of why I love that band again. It's like, man, they just like, it doesn't matter how many times I hear these songs, like it just really brings it out of me. And I was just like, just such a good time. Like it just fully, like I said, I went away from the friends that I was with. I was just in the pit with what seemed like a crowd that was a little more engaged than the one in Boulder. And yeah, it was just a really nice reminder, like, again, of why I love them. And they just still rocks. He still gives everything. And I was just impressed. You know, I was just like, yeah, this is why they're a good band. And so I think it was like, I mean, I could put the Boulder one there too, but I think it was the second one. And I was like, okay, like, what are you going to do? And it was like just as good and really great set list and really good. I always wonder, or I was thinking about it, because he did like requests at the end. And of course, I'm wondering if it was actually requests or if it's the same, like, just waiting for somebody to say, "Oh, flashlight." Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Because like artists have been like, they're like, just so you guys know, like, I can't hear a fucking thing anyone out there is saying. So it's like when they ask for requests, it's like they can't hear anything. So I don't know. It's weird. It's funny.
So that was a really, really good show, and it felt like it was nice because it was here.
Special.
And, special. So I'm gonna go see him again I'm just gonna see him every time I can.
Yeah,
so basically,
dude, me too. That like, there's bands that I have that are like, if they're around, if they've got the time, I've got the beer, basically.
Yeah. I've got the money.
Yeah, I always have the money. So, have you purchased any tickets for 2023?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, one of my rules, me and my brother, when we used to go a lot, is you always have to have one on deck. When you see your last one, then you're allowed to buy your next ticket if you don't want to buy too many at once. So I have my boss Brian. He buys tickets, so we actually have tickets for Death Cab at the end of January, or maybe mid-January. So Death Cab is coming, and then tomorrow tickets go on sale for the Goose Show, and then there's also a Mount Joy show that they're coming through Birmingham. I've seen them twice. They're pretty solid. So I'll probably have those three solidified. I mean, definitely. Yeah, I'll probably have those three solidified by tomorrow. And I think that's the only, and I really want to get, well, we'll get to that later. I have a wish list category of bands you want to see, but yeah, just those. How about you? Got any tickets on deck?
I have, I bought Jerry Cantrell tickets. He's coming to Providence in April or something. And then I have a ticket. This is going to be a little travel journey for me, but, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, they're going on tour in 2023 in the States, and I couldn't really get tickets to Boston, and the resale market's fucked. So my friend Austin, who lives in the wintertime, he lives in Kansas City, Missouri. He got tickets to the show in Kansas City, Missouri in February. So he was kind enough. He was like, if you want a ticket, I'll get you one. You make it out here, and so I'm gonna go there for a nice little destination. See a friend I haven't seen in a while, so I think that'll be a really, really good memory. And a couple others. I mean, everything's getting announced seemingly now. But Hot Mulligan and the Wonder Years announced, I think, last week that they're touring together. But they're coming. The closest they're coming to me is New Haven, Connecticut, which I think is about 2 hours from me. But I think I'll have to make that drive. See if my Wonder Years buddy, I don't think he'll be able to make it. He's busy with a work obligation. That's Cullen. That's Eddie Vedder got me through my second divorce. But I'll have to go and hammer 4 double rum and cokes on my own and get in there.
Hell yes.
Yeah, man. So
I want to see that they play in Nashville, I think, and I kind of want to get up there to it if I can. Maybe Andrew will go with me.
I might have to meet you there, dude.
That'd be awesome. That would be sick.
The time.
So what if you had a wish list, if you had like 4 or 5 bands that you haven't seen yet, you really want to see for whatever reason, maybe they're going out last tour, maybe you just seemingly miss them every time they come through. Who are the bands that you feel like you want to see?
I have a few that are on my list for sure. Definitely Modest Mouse is on there. I had the ticket and the show got canceled.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's a missed opportunity right there. Additionally, people have such conflicting
Blink-182.
Yeah, no, I will not be at the reunion tour. I don't really have any interest in that. But people have such conflicting opinions on the Counting Crows and Adam Duritz, but I love their music. And if you pulled 10 people coming out of a Counting Crows show, 5 of them would say it's the greatest show they've ever seen. 5 of them would be like, it's the fucking worst thing I've ever seen. It's like Bob Dylan just babbling. But I love them. I almost reeled them in. I had them on my line in August of 2021, but somebody in the party had COVID, so they weren't able to play that night, and they never came back to make up the date, I don't think. So those two are definitely on the list. I'm trying to think. I would love to come and see Goose for sure. I hope I can finally, get the gears to turn so I can start to get it a little bit, figure that out. But otherwise, I mean, my list is growing with each year of like, if they're in the area, I will see them. And a lot of the artists that I saw this year, like if they're playing a show in Rhode Island or Massachusetts or even Connecticut for that matter, like I want to go see them. But I think those immediately come to mind. I have Springsteen ticket, so that's been on the list for a long, long time, obviously. But other bands like, I don't know, man. Like if like Pearl Jam does another U.S. tour, like I don't know. Like it's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's really expensive, and money's expensive. So I mean, you go to one Pearl Jam show, you can see the front bottoms 4 times.
Exactly.
We're about to be excommunicated from our own podcast for saying that, but
the fans understand. I mean,
they understand.
The whole Ticketmaster thing that's going on, the Taylor Swift.
Ticketmaster, man. That's the other thing, Taylor Swift. Like, my mom asked me because I like Taylor Swift. She's like, "Are you getting tickets?" I'm like, "That's a funny joke." To mortgage my non-existent house, sell my car to go see her. I don't really have an interest in that, but yeah, I don't. That's a really good question. The wish list. I'm sure if I thought more about it, I would have better answers. But yeah, that's those are my answers now. But I think the best ones are the ones that you find out about like a month and a half beforehand, like, oh shit, they're gonna be here, and you just scrounge and find a ticket somewhere. Those are fun. They always pop up.
Yeah.
What about you?
So for me, I really want to see Petey again.
Yeah.
Live or headlining.
He's always on the list.
Yeah, he's always on my list. Like I want to see. I've seen him once, but like he's still my wish list. Still want to see him. I put Dead & Co there. Because
the final tour.
They're on their final tour, which I talked to Chad. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, Bob Weir's going to keep playing. Like, it's like their drummer's just like 80, and I think he's done. So, like, half the band is going to be done, but they're still going to continue playing. So, and it's a classic, like, final tour, but I do want to make it out. Because as long as I see Bob, then, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I really do want to make it, but that seems like, I looked at the tickets in Fenway just the other day, and they're like, really expensive, compared to like some of the other shows.
It's not going to be a cheap buy-in.
Yeah, and I'd have to fly there, so we have to do some looking there.
Yeah, we'll collaborate.
Yeah, so I'd like to see them though, for historical reasons, and I put Kurt Vile. I think Kurt Vile's at the top of my list right now, just because I feel like he's really he released this Spotify single for "Here Comes Santa." It's a cover of a Bob Dylan song, and it's so good. I love it right now. I just like I've listened to it a ton and sent it around. So I got Kurt Vile. I put Hot Mulligan on there because they're coming around, and I've really liked them. They've been my emo band for a couple of years now that I've really enjoyed. So I want to go see them for a bunch of reasons. And then the other one I put Oliver Tree. I love.
Nice. I like that a lot.
I love Oliver Tree, and he's came through. Like he actually played in Birmingham, like in August. I don't know if it was this year, but I was away. Like I was at home, so it just wasn't able to make it. And he's had a few like close calls, and he's just so funny and such a like, he is a performance on stage and stuff. So I think he would be really cool to see. And there's a few people like that like Taylor Swift. You go see her and you get to see the music, but that it's going to be like this amazing show performance.
There's more
type.
To it, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that about the 1975 now. And these they're just a huge production. I remember Bleachers had a pretty big kind of setup, if I remember right. You said Avondale. I mean, for Avondale's,
Yeah, they were solid. They weren't.
Nothing like the Joshua Tree.
Yeah,
who does some absolutely batshit production?
Elton John.
No, not crazy, but Roger Waters I've heard is like completely just like a fuckery of a production setup. But
yeah, to do some. I mean, that's MGK does that stuff too, or he really
doesn't surprise me.
No, he does like I watched that documentary and it was like pretty crazy the stuff that they like do but. I would also want to see Post Malone would be cool.
That'd be cool,
There's a few people like Post Malone. I mean, I guess he like travels, but I mean, I don't know. I never see where he's playing. You know what I mean?
He's always playing not near. Well, actually, that's a lie. I think he was just in Boston not that long ago. But I think there's like a lot of like Post Malone, like some of these people that you're mentioning, like I would go, but like it wouldn't be of my own accord that I went. It would be like you or somebody would be like, hey, like, do you want to go? Like, I'd be like, all right, I'll go. Yeah. I mean, the answer for me is almost always yes. Like if I'm free, like, hey, you want to go to a show? Like, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
I'm seeing King Buffalo this weekend. Like, I mean, you want to go? Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I'll go see down. King Buffalo.
And one of the bands that's always has been at the top of my list for years that I've never been able to catch is Bon Iver. I've always wanted. Yeah. They're one of my favorite groups of all time.
Yeah,
and
Justin Vernon's so good.
Justin Vernon is so good, but they kind of they're hard to catch when they come and play, and the tickets are always really hard to get. So, like he's on the list, but I know that I don't know he's not going to come to Birmingham or something. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I mean I'm down for whatever as far as music goes.
Yeah, no, me too. I always am. Looking back to 2022, I balk at the idea of each of us trying to anoint the worst show that we went to. But we can later. But is there anybody that you saw that you were most surprised by, negatively or positively, in terms of how they sounded, the stage presence, what the crowd was like, the quality? Was there anything that like you were like, wow, like that's not really what I expected?
Nothing really jumps out. Not really. I mean, maybe Jimmy Eat World could have been a little bit. I guess they kind of impressed me. I think that I was kind of like, okay, maybe they're more than just the middle, and they kind of had some good stuff, but nothing too surprising to me. I guess when I went and saw Pup. And the OG BMs opened up for them, and yes. I documented them on the story, and they were just this band from Canada that was like pretty hardcore, and they were really fun. So they did surprise me, and they were really cool. They're from Montreal, I believe, because Pup is also Canadian, so that was really good. But nothing too crazy.
Yeah. I think for me, there were two that surprised me for a couple of different reasons. But the first one, I saw Failure. And number one, I was surprised that there were no openers. It was just Failure. And I was just so surprised. And I guess it makes sense looking back at it. But I was so surprised by the reverence and fanaticism that the fans had for Failure. I guess fairly naive of me to think that all bands don't have hardcore fans, but like those people were like wait until you see this. And I was like, holy shit. And they were really good. Like I was surprised. But I guess, I mean, if you're touring and you're the only act on the bill, you gotta bring it, and they did. It was really good. And coincidentally, the show that I saw right after that, the Melvins, I don't know if I've recovered yet. They were all wearing like skeleton onesies, except I think the bassist. No, except the drummer wasn't. Forgive me for having a brain blank on the Melvins drummer's name, but Buzz. It was just so bizarre. It was exactly what you expected, I guess, but I was still just kind of taken aback. They played for 1 hour exactly, no encores, no communication whatsoever except the songs. There was no banter. There was no. I don't even think they introduced the band. It was just weird. So I was surprised by that, I guess. But yeah, I mean, there were. Most of the time I was surprised by just how much fun I had at a lot of these shows. Like I saw Camp Cope. I had wanted to see them for a few years. They finally came to the U.S. The Boston show was, I think, the first one of the tour, maybe the second. And I just had most of these shows. I look back and like I had a great time at all of these. Courtney Barnett's so fun.
Yeah, I think one surprise or one nice thing to point out is I feel like. The openers were all great. I've seen, I mean, I feel like they probably were in the past, but I feel like people are really trying to like give the openers a lot more credit, give them more time, and allow them maybe to do more things because, I mean, they kind of rocked. I mean, I was going to say the OGBMs were an opener. Briston Maroney opened for...
I love Briston Maroney.
Yeah, he opened for Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and he was good. Again, I actually saw him open for Mountjoy. But I was going to say, the Joy Formidable opened for the Front Bottoms. They kind of surprised me. I mean, I'd seen them once, like just caught the tail end when they opened for the Foo one time. But she was the lead singer. There's the whole band was such a joy, and they talked throughout the whole time, and it was just that was really enjoyable, really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, the openers were all like good. I mean, so I thought that was cool. I think that Petey was an opener, you know. Sydney Sprague was an opener.
Sydney Sprague was an opener. Yeah, you're right. I saw Samia was an opener. One missed opportunity that I'm really upset about. Yeah, and this wasn't anybody's fault, but Car Seat Headrest was my first show of the year, and Bartees Strange was supposed to open for them, and I was really looking forward to that, but I think either he or someone in the band got COVID, so wasn't able to make the trip. But it was cool because each member of Car Seat Headrest did like a solo thing, which was really cool. The guitarist has a solo project, and the drummer and Will Toledo have like a comedy rap solo side thing that they did, which was really, really funny. But yeah, we were really, really lucky with all the shows that we were able to see. Band of Horses, they were an opener. People forget.
Exactly.
People forget.
Yeah, and so. I think the last thing I'll say, I wrote it down that, you know, I'm just really thankful to be able to travel and support artists that I love.
Yes.
And people that I care about, you know, artists that I care about in their careers. And, you know, I think this past year, I mean, like I said, 21, I feel like I saw shows, but I wrote down, I feel like they reignited something again, going to these live shows, and just a real good year of music that I did need to kind of keep my music, you know, my music fire going and whatnot.
Use that muscle in your head.
Yeah, to keep the tickets on deck and stuff and not be afraid. So yeah, it's been a great year of music.
Yeah, I totally agree. So it's always fun to look back, and certainly we had a lot of good things to look back on this year in terms of shows, and I hope everybody did. I'd love to kind of hear what everybody's favorite shows were from this past year. I think you know, the listeners and we have a lot in common with them, and I'm sure we saw a lot of the same shows, and I attended several of these shows with people that listened. So all in all, a great year. Really, really happy about that. So that's good.
All right. If you're still listening right now, we want to say thank you. Without you, the listener, this podcast would not mean anything. So it's really
a damn thing.
Yeah. So it's really nice to have people that get enjoyment and like to follow along. So please continue to do that. Share with your friends. You know, get us in the algorithm of other people's. So other people's phones. Yeah. We got to bump the algorithm up. You know, that's our best friend right now. So keep that up. Follow us. Share us, and then if you'd like we said in the beginning, become a patron. That is the best and most direct
giving.
Yep, the best and most direct way to support us and to thank our lovely producer Drew McFadden, because, you know, we got to pay him.
We do have to pay Drew,
because we can't expect him to do this for free. And
no.
and we get that. That's why we don't have a problem.
That's the thing. Like I expect you to do it for free. You expect me to do it for free, but that's where the freebies end. You know, Drew does great work, and we need to make sure that you know, that he's taken care of. Well, thank you for helping us.
Yeah, I was even going to go the opposite of, like, you know, we can't expect Drew to do it for free. So, like, as a listener, you can't expect us to do this for free either.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, fuck what I said. You're right, Ethan.
Well, you guys understand, right? I mean, that's
without us, Drew has jack shit to edit. So
I've learned that as I've gotten older, it's like you can't expect people to do stuff for free.
No.
Yeah, at least, you know, if you offer, and if they say no, then like, okay, no problem. You know, you're doing a solid, but it's always nice to give a gesture. So
now's your time. End of the year. We're not a nonprofit, so you don't get any sort of tax incentive. You can write it off.
Write it off, dude. I mean.
Yeah, this is the disclaimer. We are not licensed financial advisors, and none of this should be taken as explicit financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
Yeah, none of this is financial advice. So that keeps our lawyers at bay. So, because we certainly have those, because we're a big enterprise.
Oh yeah, we got lawyers.
Yeah, we've got everything. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah, so you guys know what to do if you want to support us.
Right.
Thanks for listening, all that jazz. It's been a fun year as we begin to near the end. After this, we have 2 more episodes that come out in 2022, and then we move forward to another year, which is gonna be cool. We got some cool stuff coming.
All right. Do you want to wrap it up with some songs of the week?
Yeah, man. I think we should. I think that's a really good idea. And I will begin.
Yeah, you go first. I need to grab my phone. I'm gonna step away. But you just go 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll just start ripping and pretend that you're here. So my song of the week. Yeah, it's I don't remember where I learned this song. I don't remember how I discovered it. I think I discovered it from a random Spotify playlist I was listening to, which sucks because we don't like Spotify, but we kind of like Spotify, but you know how that goes. But anyways, the song is called Poison, and it's by a band called Mood Ring, who I admittedly know nothing about. I haven't heard of this band before. They have 332 monthly listeners on Spotify, so now's a great chance that I hadn't heard of this band. You probably haven't either, so let's hear of it. The song Poison, it was released last year, I believe, as a single, and it's just a really, really good indie rock song. They've got good vocals on here, nice distorted guitar, and it was I love indie rock, obviously, and it was exactly what I needed to listen to. I found it, I think, like last week, and I listened to it a bunch, so I think it's fitting to be my song of the week. So that would be Poison by Mood Ring.
Poison by Mood Ring. Yep. I love it.
Yeah, let's book it.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I can't wait to listen to. How many followers did you say they had?
It has 332 monthly listeners on Spotify, and this song has 7,000 plays on Spotify. So this is ground floor, everybody. So go ahead and give that a listen. Let's listen to these bands that make good music that you might not know about. So yeah, it's my spiel for today.
That's good. So my song of the week, I'm gonna go with the song that Goose opened up their set with.
Right on.
And it is Flew Down, F-L-O-O, F-L-O-O Down, and it starts off with a real nice drum roll, and it's kind of like, it's just like a slow build for like 3 minutes and like when they opened up, it's like, here they come, they start the drums and they just start hitting the music and doing like almost like classic Fish, where they just sound going, and the lights are going in the crowd, and everybody's like, sparking up, and everybody's getting their arms warmed up.
Ready.
And it's just like this crazy build to the beginning of the concert where they're all like, oh, here we go. they're getting loose, and it just builds and builds, and it gets like more chaotic, and people are like, oh, I guess I'm gonna keep smoking. They just keep doing stuff. They don't know what to do. They don't know when it's gonna drop. And
hell yeah.
And it just was such a build, and then right into the concert, it was just like, whew. And it was great. It was really fun. So I'm gonna use the live version from Swansea, New Hampshire in 2020. So
that's great. I love that. I love that for you, and I love that for us.
Yeah.
So song of the week,
Flew Down,
that we're on.
All right. And I believe so. Go follow that playlist. Take a look at all the songs that we've chosen over the last 2 years, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll be back next week with episode 91. We have another interview on deck, and then after that, celebrate the holidays, celebrate Christmas. We have an episode that we've all been waiting for a while. But until then, I hope everybody stays well out there. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you.
That's right. Rock and roll, everybody. Have a safe week.
See ya. Yeah, dude. 90 straight.
So this will come out on December
12th.
Shit, that's Monday.
Yeah, dude, it is Monday. Crazy.
Elijah's birthday is the next Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, it was the 16th?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he and his old girl used to share the birthday.
It's true.
Fuck.
All right, I'm going to bring us in. Let's do this.
Bring us in.
Ready? Welcome back to another episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast.